All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the 10,000.
Good morning.
Our 30-minute effort to get closer to mastery. So today we're going to talk about adapting to and navigating the current market we find ourselves in, which, as everyone knows, is pretty stressful for buyer's agents, pretty chaotic for listing agents, and there's just a lot to navigate. So our team here has an awesome list of kind of ideas and thoughts we're going to run through. So why don't we just jump right into it? And also, guys, before we jump into it, I want to invite anyone watching just to fire questions in. There's no stupid question. There's no question. I mean, we love curveballs. We love challenging questions. So anything you got, throw it at us and we'll try and get it answered in this little session here. But why don't we, who would like to open this thing up?
Well, I started the week with my post in the classroom that talked about, like, why do we do a CMA? And it seems in this market kind of crazy to even think, like, I love it when a buyer calls me and says, hey Tracy, could we get a CMA on the house we just saw? We want to write an offer. When what we really know is it doesn't matter what the CMA says, but at the end of the day, we have a responsibility to make sure we're representing our clients really well. So, if you go and you look at a particular house in a neighborhood, your client likes it, you go back, you do some homework, you look, hey, what did the other 2-story homes sell for in a similar time period in a similar size? And to be able to tell them, look, I can see that, the last 4 houses, the average sale price was, $159 a square foot, but this one's at $168. Like, how do you explain to your client that, hey, based on what I told you, I think we should write for higher than 168 a square foot because I think this seller really nailed the price.
Yeah, so the comps show we should be writing 300, but I'm going to recommend 375.
Yeah, right, exactly.
It's hard.
Yeah. So that's a difficult place to be in. So how do you offer that kind of advice? Because at the end of the day, we know that someone's going to do it.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know, Kim, how do you do it? Doug, how are you guys doing?
Oh man, I was just going to say, as Kim just said earlier, it's a big subject because, again, I had one yesterday. I had 17 offers on a property in Muskegon. 17, you guys.
Yeah.
And they were all over the board with all kinds of, and some included their CMAs, some included just about, everything that you could imagine, because they wanted to win. They wanted to win. And I think when we talk about CMAs, there has to be a little bit of a baseline there. But again, the other side of the conversation is, people are throwing them right out the window right now, right? They're not even serious about it. So that's a tough thing to have that great conversation up front with your people. So
let's talk about your situation real fast, Doug. So you listed this property.
Yep.
You did a CMA for them to try and land a price point.
I did.
Where did you land on the price?
Interestingly enough, I did a little bit of what you do in the early age, where you start with a baseline, dollars per square foot, all of those things. Again, it's a very interactive conversation with your seller, because sometimes where you think it should be priced and, of course, where they think it should be priced in this market is two totally different things, right? So we agreed on a number. It was $190,000 for the house. Nothing on that street sold for $190,000.
What were the if you were like, let's rewind to like 2010, what would you have priced that at? With the same comps, where would you have priced it?
190, about
175?
Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly the conversation that we had. It got a little crazy because they thought, something at this point in time, we went back to look at what's our competition? How many other homes in this area were for sale for anything close to that? There were 5. So not a whole lot of choices, a whole lot of buyers. And you know what happened? The floodgates just opened. First day, 17 showings. Second day, 27 showings. It was like Grand Central Station, people coming and going. And of course, we ended up, we gave them a 4-day time frame. Monday at noon, all the offers were due. And it was the job of who? The listing agent, to then sit down and kind of make sense of all that. So huge dilemma. All good for the seller, because I was working for the seller, but there was a lot of frustration with a lot of buyers. And again, we saw some CMAs, and then we didn't see some CMAs. We just saw some prices that people just picked out of who knows where, just simply because they wanted to win.
So Doug, the comps that you were looking from a listing agent perspective did not really justify 190 necessarily. It's just sort of like, we're in this range, 190. And then when the buyers came in, you don't have to give us the numbers because I assume you're still pending. You're probably
Still pending, just pending yesterday. Yes.
So, without giving us too much detail, what kind of a percentage over asking were we when it all kind of shook out?
Oh man, we had offers, and I got to give you numbers here because I mean we were in the 210s, 220s.
Yep.
And the winning offer was north of 230.
Yep.
So think about that. Listed at 189.9, 190. 4 days later, ended up over 230.
Yeah.
So I'd
Again,
like to
I used to say I was really good at pricing homes, right? Now I don't know if I'm so good anymore.
So Doug, do your clients ever go, boy, Doug, you really dropped the ball on that one. We were way low, Doug.
Well, they kind of said we left a little money on the table, maybe, right?
I think this is where we can interject. One of the ways that we bring value is we manage the noise,
Yeah.
right? That's one of the reasons they need us. How could a for sale by owner ever manage what's going on in this market from 3 days of 20 showings every day? Do they have a showing time app? How are they going to manage that? So there's 2 points, right? One is we manage all of the showings, the time. Well, one would be we manage pricing that we're talking about. And number 2, all the showings. But number 3, how can a seller understand escalation clauses, appraisal guarantee, which is the best offer, FHA, VA, right? So we manage that noise for them. So
And
that,
Kim, at the end of that, that's exactly what they just said. We couldn't have done this.
right.
So all of a sudden I'm thinking, hey, there's value. There's a lot of value in what we're doing here. And again, we just need to make sure that people are aware of really what's going on in this market.
Yeah.
If you're a for sale by owner, you can imagine the immense kind of pressure you're going to receive. So let's say for giggles here, you're a FSBO, you toss your house on Zillow, you get someone on the same day writing you an amazing offer, and it's like cash, right? The deal is a FSBO is going to go, this is great, let's take it. But a realtor can go, hold on, we got like 200 other people who want to see this house. This might be just the beginning. So a FSBO is going to have a very hard time gauging if they're going to get the maximum possible value for their house.
Sure.
And they're going to feel pressure. So one of the things that I think as realtors we do is we also help shield them from, as Kim put, the noise, but also some of that emotional pressure and that stress and anxiety of having to deal directly with someone who wants your house, who's putting on the 3rd degree. Right. And this is why I've always wondered about these letters that are being written. I'm like, man, if I give these letters to my seller, and I know some sellers love seeing them, and that's fine. But if you think about it from like a more abstract, you pull back a second, these letters are a manipulation. These letters are like, hey, how do you feel? Do you want to feel like a puddle on the floor over here? You want to read about a bunch of families who are going to be devastated if they don't get your house? Yeah. I mean, think about what you're doing to your seller. Here, why don't you manage all these emotions? I mean, I for one think we should be protecting them from this and let them make a good decision.
Yeah, that's a good
I don't even like to read them because then
like,
I just don't. I don't want to emotionally get involved. It's just numbers that,
Yeah.
So.
Can I share something that my buyer did win, and we did use a letter? And so I'll keep it generic this weekend. So I know in this situation that they had an offer off the table before it ever hit the market for 285. Home was listed at 275. You ready?
Yep.
My buyer won at 335 with a 35 guarantee.
Wow.
Oh, man.
So pre-offer addendum all day long. You sign off, you understand everything you're doing. Now the strategy is they're going live today at 200 in Portage, that they're going to get the 30. But just, we have to really know and advise our clients that what you're doing is that you are totally competent in your decision, right?
Yep.
That's the craziness we're seeing right now.
For sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, go ahead.
All right. So let's say you got now let's talk about, we understand the listing side of things. I mean, it's a bit of a, it's tough to even list, like your pricing's all over, as you guys both just great examples, Doug and Kim, of like exactly what can happen when you're a listing agent. Some of the newer people watching maybe have never had a listing, but it's like that. You're running through the same kind of CMA. You're trying to figure it out. You're trying to get in the ballpark. I say we don't have a crystal ball, So we get in the ballpark, and then the market's going to show us the intensity of the market's going to drive the price to where it should be. And you can overprice a house in this market. Run a search right now and look for homes that have been on the market for more than 30 days, and you will find them. They're out there.
And
So
those are the ones that you might be able to win on because the seller's getting, yeah.
you've got an FHA buyer, VA buyer, or somebody who's having a hard time with like kind of just has like a low down payment that just doesn't look good maybe on paper compared to others. That's a great strategy. We've heard of people going out there and looking for older listings. And by the way, let's say that older listings at 300, but they've been on the market for 45 days. We've seen those things coming in under asking, right? Because well, clearly they're overpriced. They got a pricing issue. So you might have a second shot at those overpriced listings. Go back in there with your buyers, see if you can talk those people back down to reality.
Yeah.
But where I was going to go is how in the heck are you guys how in the world are you guys getting yourself in a situation as a buying agent when you're running the CMA, or like Tracy, someone calls you and says, hey, I want a CMA. And you know, it's probably like, well, I talked to the listing agent, there's 75 showings and they already have 7 offers in hand. So a CMA isn't going to do much for me right now.
Yeah, but you know what it does? It helps them understand what an appraisal guarantee might need to look like.
That's a good point.
Yeah, so if the price per square foot is, $159 all day long, but we can see the seller has it listed for $170 a square foot, and the comps are, they're in the last 90 to 120 days, we know that pretty likely they're going to come in there. So when you start to look at what's going to be needed to help get this seller to where they want to be, because we know someone out there is going to give it to them.
Yep.
So our job is to help them win and help them understand the strategy of winning. And right now in this market, it's appraisal guarantees. It's over asking price.
Absolutely. It's all about guarantee.
Yeah. And when I'm on the listing side, my last 3 listings that I've just had, another one this past weekend, all 3 of them have been buyers that waived inspections that won.
Yeah, I mean, I think from a seller's perspective, the value you're getting is going to be great. We know the values are going to be pushed all the way to the top because everyone's pushing the value to the top. And then it becomes a game of, well, who's going to reduce my risk to 0?
Right.
Yep. Yep. That's true.
Yeah. And someone will, because guess what? There are no homes. So there's always going to be someone that will. And at the end of the day, I think that as we have these conversations, the 4 of us, with people and agents who are newer to the industry, they might not have a listing with 16 showings or 16 offers that Doug said, but it's good for them to know and hear what's happening on the other side to this, because it helps offer advice to their client to say, you know what, it's really tough out there. I mean, we're hearing 10, 16, 20, 70 showings in a weekend.
Yeah.
And what that looks like are just all these offers. And so they learn through the experience of just writing offer after offer and losing.
Yep.
And I tell my clients all the time, like the house you write on, love the house you have an opportunity to inspect, because you're going to like a lot of houses, but you may not win. It may take 15, 16 offers, depending on the type of financing.
Well, and it's part of that education process too, Tracy. I mean, you want to be able to have these heart conversations with your buyers in terms of saying, hey, this is a tough market, and
Right.
It's not for the weak-hearted. I mean, this is something that we might write some offers. We might not win on some of these things, but as you go through these, boy, does the motivation change a little bit with your buyers. They start to get a little motivated, and then you find out who the serious ones are right away. So it's just different. It is different for sure.
One bit of advice here. We've been seeing a few more complaints from the public. Actually, 5-star. They work with 5-star realtors. But what we're seeing right now, and this is going to be a prop for the pre-offer addendum. What we're seeing right now is that these buyers are also in a state of panic and frenzy, right? Because and this is part of our job, is to keep them calm, we want our buyers to feel like they are fully aware of what's going on at every step of the game. And this is super key. This is why that pre-offer addendum is so awesome. That we're reworking it, where we're going to add information about, did you go over asking? Did you have an escalation clause? Do you understand inspections? Do you understand what waiving them means? Do you know all these types of things? Because, we received a message from someone who worked with 5-star agents and said, hey, I felt rushed. I felt like I didn't fully understand it. I was told we were up against like 75 people. And then we've got it from sellers too, who said like, hey, I didn't realize I gave up my washing machine. I didn't realize I gave up my basketball hoop. I didn't realize we gave up this and that. Now, we went back and looked at the offers. They had 20 offers. They sold for 30,000 over asking, and the offer waived inspections, had appraisal guarantees. And so one might say that we did a great job and got them an awesome offer, and they did really, really well on the deal. But what we didn't do, and we can do better, is making sure they're totally informed. And this is why we really got to slow down at that moment when we're drafting that offer and make sure they fully understand it. When we're presenting these offers, to really make sure they understand, you know, I'm guilty of this, guys. I have sold houses, and all of a sudden, a couple days before closing, I look at what's included by accident. Like I didn't pay super close attention to what was included, and I'm like, okay, I'm buying a basketball hoop. I better head over to MC Sports or Cabela's or wherever I got to go, Dick's Sporting Goods, and I got to go price out basketball hoops now. I'm guilty of it. I've been there. And I think at some point in your career, it's going to happen to you where you're going to have to write a check. And so I'm just going to tell you right now, the advice I would give you is when you make that mistake, you can call me, you can call Don, you can call any one of these three here, but I'm going to tell you what we would do. We would pull out the checkbook and we'd write the check without even calling anybody.
Absolutely.
We'd make it go away.
Yep.
You know what? You're getting paid well. You're an expert.
Your clients will remember it.
And they will tell their friends, like, you wouldn't believe what they did. They owned their problem right off the bat. They owned their mistake.
Yep.
So that's part of being a great realtor is making those problems go away quickly and understanding when you made a mistake and own it. Don't leave it on them.
I think one of the things you just said is so important, Paul, with the market that's driving us, the train is going so fast down the track, slow down, breathe for a minute.
Yep.
I think that is so key. I woke up in the middle of the night the other night, was like, oh my goodness. And I remembered what I had missed. And thankfully it was early. It was early. I mean, literally, if I had not woke up middle of the night, I would have missed that my seller would have been homeless. I mean, It's that big. I was like, oh my goodness. So everything's driving so fast, and you just got to slow it down and make sure we are the pro. I like Tracy uses that word a lot, be the pro. Yep. and protect your clients. If you take one thing away from today, I would say, slow down, be the pro.
Yep.
And Paul, what you just said is key. That communication that you have, you can't over communicate enough, in my opinion. Because again, there's going to be conversations that come up, and as quickly as people, and I always say dot loop is one of those things that people love to click and click and click, and that sometimes they're not really realizing what they're clicking, what they're signing.
Yeah, they're tap, 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 tap.
Yep. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, Doug, so let's talk about inspections. I said,
yep.
Did you guys read the inspection paragraph? Because we've talked about that. So again, that over communication is the key. I believe it.
Yep.
Yeah. So one of the things that I think is really important that we do is really know, one of the things we do for our clients is the care and concern. It's real easy to want to win in this market. And so emotional intelligence, emotionally helping them. I'm finding, whether it's my own clients or agents, I hold hands all day long for people. You know, be their rock, be their stability in all this anxiety, right? Mm-hmm. Care and concern, communication. I think those 3 C's are so important in this market. And that's one of the things we bring for value as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we have to have empathy for these people. I recently moved. Tracy, I know that several. Doug, you recently moved. I know, Tracy, you've been well, I don't know if I can say that, but you've been considering, right?
Right. I'm between 2 places.
Yeah.
I live out of my car.
It is a lot of stress. I mean, buying is stressful. Selling is stressful. I mean, it's a good reminder for us when we move ourselves to realize like what it is they're going through. And then how many times you've been waiting on pins and needles for information.
Oh, yes.
I'm a realtor, right? And I remember waiting on pins and needles to get the appraisal back, to get this thing back, to get that thing back. And, you know, I can only imagine being someone who's relying on a realtor. And then if you don't hear from your realtor, holy cow. I mean, you start to feel so much anxiety. So I think to Kim's point again, and Doug's point, everyone's point here is find a way to communicate. So one of the things that Greg used to say to me when I was a young realtor, probably 2006, 2007, he'd say, Paul, if your client has to call you to ask you, then you're too late.
Yep.
You should have been thinking about it ahead of time. You should have given them all the information. Yep. If they're calling you asking, then that's an indication that you're not doing a good enough job communicating. So step it up.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I truly kind of believe that if you're over communicating, if you're talking to them regularly, keeping them informed, you know what, even update them with no news. Honestly, update them with no news. Hey guys, just checking in. I don't have any news for you right now, but I will as soon as I get it. You're going to keep that level of confidence high.
Yep.
And part of this, guys, and I'm going to be really honest here, is how you handle these moments, how you handle this transaction, both listing and selling. This is what's going to make or break your business going forward.
Mhm.
It's not whether or not you got them a house. It's not whether or not you sold them a house. It's how you did it from start to finish. And the better you make that experience, like think about the best customer service experience you've ever had and figure out how you can apply that to your business.
Mhm.
And if you can do that, guys, if you can take this tough market we're in, great market, tough market, challenging market, and you can make their experience amazing on both buying and selling, that's how you're going to grow naturally, and your sphere is going to they're just going to tell everyone about you. I just want to put that in there. That's why this matters.
Experiences equal relationships, right? You can't have good experiences doing things without the relational piece of it. So you're at the center point of it. You get to drive which direction it goes in. I'm telling you, writing people's name, if you don't have like a whiteboard or some system where you're looking at these people's names, because that in itself tells me like how are you figuring out how you're communicating with them, you know, not just by an auto email that dumps in their email regularly. I don't care if it looks like a terrible house, just email them and say, hey, did you see the one that just popped in at 123 Main Street, you know? And they might say, yeah, good location, but it caused you to just have an interaction.
And they go, thanks for thinking about me.
Yeah.
Thanks for thinking about me.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm sitting at an office. People just walk in the door and they said, yeah, we're looking to spend $1 million. And I'm like, are you working with a realtor right now? They said, we've been working with a realtor. We don't have an agency and we have no agency with this realtor, but I'll tell you what, this person said, I'm going to work with whoever can find me a house. And now we understand agency. I'm not recommending you don't go out there and get agency, but what I'm kind of saying is based upon what Tracy is saying here is they want to know that you care as much as they do about whether or not they get a house or sell their house. Because if you don't care and you're not checking in and they say, hey, we want to sell and you never talk to them again, or hey, we want to buy and you go, sounds great. Let me know when you find a house you want to see. You know, I'll be here.
Yep.
That's called passive real estate.
Yeah.
We want you to be actively involved in real estate, right? Not passive.
You know what, Paul, I find it's just best to be upfront with them and say, I'm just probably not the person to help you right now. If they have terms that you don't think you can win with, I think it's just best up front. I popped in the other day and had a 30-minute massage to manage the stress, right? And the massage therapist was talking to me and she said she's been kind of looking at a house. And I just looked at her and I said, don't buy right now. I just said, don't buy right now. I mean, sometimes that's the answer. Unless you're willing to get in and do some of these things that we're talking about, save yourself, look for homes that have been on the market for a while, or just, you know, I don't want to discourage FHA buyers, but we all know that if you need help with closing costs, it's very tough to get them through. And I think it's better to say up front, I'd love to help you, but I don't think we can win right now. You want 200 in Portage, that is never going FHA.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think we just need to have honest conversations, set the expectation without letting them see our stress. We're supposed to be the expert. There's nothing worse than having your clients be all spun up and then you as the agent be all spun up and emotional as well. So if we flip back to emotional intelligence, we have to be calm, cool, have it together. That's one of the biggest things we're paid to do, right? We're serving them and we're there to help them. And we have to be that straight up non-emotional agent in order to help them properly in the chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Two things that you guys just said that I wrote down again, hand holding, right, Kim?
Yep.
Holding people's hands, making them sure it's good. Paul, what you said makes total sense. Even if you have no news, tell them. Just check in to say, hey, just wanted to let you know what's going on. Again, not much right now, but thought we'd just touch base real quick. That goes a long, long way.
That alone, Doug, might have been one of the things that actually that was like an aha moment for me in my business.
Okay.
Just giving them no news at all.
Yep. You want to know the longest moments are when the offers are due at noon and you're waiting on a response.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right? If I don't hear from, like, they're texting me. And
I'll send, you know, funny memes like,
yeah, like, right? Yeah, just something to say, yeah, I'm waiting too. You know, they need to know that you are their raving fan, regardless of what offer they write or whatever if they're the seller or the buyer. I think one thing is that we just have to remember is we are their raving fan. That is the number one thing that we need to let them know. I'm here for you. We're going to take a ride together. Let's do it. Right?
right.
And well, that's another piece of it too. So you're waiting and waiting and waiting for the response, right? The response is just taking forever because we know what's happening on the other side. They're trying to figure out, is it offer one or offer two? And offer one, we're trying to do this. And then they didn't accept it. So we went to offer number two. But in the meantime, you got 12 other people that are waiting.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, sometimes the agent just takes and moves the property to pending, doesn't even call you and
Ooh.
tell you.
Sometimes
So
your
you're-
client will text you a picture of
The
pen.
client, exactly. And how disappointing is that? So how do you manage that where you feel like, okay, I'm the agent. I'm supposed to be, you know, giving the advice to my client. I'm the news deliverer. And
Yeah.
yet someone, so that's a tough one too. So
That's one.
that,
I'll tell you a story. One of our agents in Kalamazoo, she is amazing. I won't name her name, but she's amazing. And when we won on Monday, we spent the weekend writing the offer, waiting. So Monday came down and she called me and I did what Tracy just said. I was looking to see if it went pending because it's been 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour. And my clients are like, we have to win this. And so I kept looking. That's a horrible feeling. And so she finally called me and said, you got it. So I texted people and she said, Kim, I got to get off the phone. Not did she do an email. I would have done an email blast. I'll be honest. I would have gone to Showing Time and said, y'all wrote great offers. Thank you. You know what she did? She sat down for the next 2 offers and called 20 people and told them their offer didn't win. I thought that was stellar.
yeah.
I thought
tell
that
you-
was top notch.
I usually always call the losing agents, and this is why I do. It's a big undertaking to take.
Yep.
Number one, they appreciate it. Number two, I make a connection. I get to know someone. They understand I'm the pro. This is how I do business. I want them to see my name again. I want them to remember me.
Yep.
And also because, you know, I don't work with many buyers anymore. Mainly agents on my team do. But it's important for them to know, hey, you wrote a great offer. In a normal market, this would have been the winning offer. But let me tell you about the offer that won. It was, you know, X amount over asking. It include these kinds of tools because that helps them to be able to go back to their buyer and manage that emotion, right? So it's like we're all in it to win it together. And I think that we have to work together.
Mhm. I like that. So you're kind of coaching the agent, your co-agent, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Couple thoughts on that. I think that's really great. And I think that's an ideal way to do it. I think Tracy, you're exactly right. And I think when you go bring your buyer into one of their listings,
Yeah.
they're going to want to go, you know what, she was great. She was stand up. I like her. She seemed really solid. Because again, when a listing agent is working with their seller, they're taking in lending, they're taking in who's the other agent, they're taking in what's the offer say, what are the terms, and I will tell you, lenders and realtors on the other end can sometimes make the difference.
Yeah.
Because if you know you've got a great stand-up person, when that person says this deal is good, it's good, kind of a situation.
Yep.
Mhm.
But here's my advice to people before you call the other agents, let them know they lost. Get yours signed.
Oh yeah. Oh
Because
yeah.
what's going to happen?
Yeah.
They're going to say, "Do you have signatures?"
Oh, yep. of
And if
course.
you tell me you don't have signatures,
Yeah. Oh, they're going to try to negotiate.
what if I throw you an extra 10K right now? Now
Right.
you're stuck in a situation going,
Yeah.
I just told everyone we had a deal. I don't have signatures. This realtor just totally flipped the script on its head. And I
Yeah.
will tell you, this will happen.
Yeah.
I did it on Monday when I thought we weren't losing because they were talking to my buyer's lender and my people, they absolutely needed to win anyway. And I'm like, I didn't have the answer. And the agent said to me, you're so funny. Cause I'm like, what do you need? Do you need another 10 guarantee?
Yeah.
What do you need?
Right.
I literally
Right.
did these
Right.
things.
Right.
It just comes out of nowhere inside of us. Like,
So-
we're in it to win.
Competitive.
Yes. So that's my advice. My advice is when the seller, if you guys go, hey, this is our decision. This is what we're going to do. We're accepting this offer. Notify him, get the signatures, get it sealed up. And then I would probably make
Make the calls.
And make the
because
call.
otherwise you will find yourself in a vice and they will tighten it down very tight on you.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is
No.
a great topic. It's the topic of the day,
Good
right?
advice, Paul. Good advice.
Good
Absolutely.
advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, perfect.
Well, I get the calls where they go, Paul, I've got a problem. I've already notified 15 people. We accepted this offer. We
Yep.
don't have meters, but all of a sudden, but they offered my buyer or they offered my seller 10,000 more. What should I do? I'm like, well, technically, I guess you don't have signatures, and then it gets really messy. Then people go to pro standards. We have ethics committees, and it gets crazy out there. So,
Get it signed.
yep, get it signed. Keep it clean. But yeah, I think that's all pretty good advice. I think this is all great advice we had here today, guys. I think these are like the little tiny tricks of the trade. And, you know, I think in our positions, we tend to see more of these things happening because we're dealing with the complaints, we're dealing with the questions, we're dealing with the, what should I do's,
Yeah.
you know, so yeah. What
Well,
else we got?
we're here for you. We're here for everyone. Call us. We'll talk to you about it. I think the best thing is just stay cool in the midst of the chaos. Be the rock, you
Yep.
know, care and concern go such a long way. Sometimes we just have to listen, just listen to them. And I think if there's one thing I would want to say to everyone is you matter, your offer matters. We're going to give it the best we can. You know, it's important. We hear you. We know that you need to win, and I'm going to do everything I can to be in your corner. And sometimes they do lose a few times. My buyer that won this weekend, they had lost several. They had lost several. And so it was their decision. I probably wouldn't have gone to that degree, but they were well informed at what they wanted to do.
Kim, that's a great thing. Before we close here,
Yep.
you know what I tell buyers is they're like, so what do you think we got to do to win? I'm like, it depends. Are we up against someone who's writing their first offer or their 17th offer?
Yes.
That's a good point.
Because if it's their first offer, you probably have a chance to beat them. But if it's their 15th offer or 12th offer, they are coming in hot. All right. They're tired of losing. And you have to assume that every person you're up against right now that's writing, every single person you're writing against right now has written more than one offer.
Mm-hmm.
So they're getting better and better and better and more aggressive with each offer, which is why we're seeing offers of homes listed at 190 selling for 233. This is why we're seeing homes listed for 300 going for 360, because that person that's winning has just written probably their 6th or 7th offer, or they have a very strong realtor that guided them there.
Yep.
So, you know, just be honest with them. Like Kim and everyone here has said, like set the expectations up front, let them know what they're up against, and show them examples of offer sheets where it's saying, here's what we had come in. This is what it's looking like. You know, you're seeing agents tell these stories, save those stories, pull them out. Say, look, this is the reality we're looking at right here. And you know, guys, if you need any advice at all, if you're in a situation where you're negotiating as a listing agent, you're working as a buyer's agent, and you need like a little bit of advice to just that second opinion, or that little like, hey, you're on the right track. That's exactly how we might handle it. You can always reach out to us. You can put it into the classroom, ask a question in the classroom. Hey, I need a quick bit of advice. I'm drafting an offer, doing an hour, or give us a call, give us a text. We want to be here to help guide you, give you some advice. So we're here for you.
Yes, we are.
Absolutely.
All right, everybody. Thanks,
Thank you
team.
all. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.
Good to
Thanks
see
all.
you. All right. See ya.
Thanks, team. Have a great rest of the week.